morning, everyone. We just had our first snowfall here in Raleigh, first snowfall of the year. And if any of you are from the South, you know that even just a flurry is basically a blizzard here in the South. So was just having snowball fight, which is why my hair is wet and I'm wearing a beanie. Um, s- Thank you. This is, of course, Headbands of Hope beanie. We actually have these new palms on here that are interchangeable, so you can buy like different colors of these palms at Headbands of Hope. We also have this in silver. So shameless plug, Headbands of Hope. Okay, so as you guys are coming in on this snow day, let's test the comments. Today has got me thinking of playing in the snow as kids. So tell me, what is your favorite childhood memory? Do you have like a trip that you went on? Do you have like maybe a dish that your parents would always make? Was there a birthday party that you loved? Uh I know for me, snow days were a big part of some of my favorite childhood memories. I also had this birthday party when I was a kid at a bowling alley, and I was such a tomboy that I didn't even realize it at the time. But then when I saw pictures now, there was no girls at my like 6-year-old birthday party. It was me and 10 boys at a bowling alley because all I wanted to do was play sports and games. So all of my friends were boys. That changed as I got on. But yeah, tell me what your favorite childhood memory is. Baking cookies with my family. Oh, I love that. Good morning, way to wake up. Yep, definitely fun to wake up in the snow. Snow days, no school days. Let's see, my grandma teaching me to make grilled cheese. Ooh, I love grilled cheese. Um, we went to a park that had a carousel and had a cookout and played frisbee. Oh, that's nice. I love that. Stealing my dad's coffee. Being a kid, no responsibilities. Yep. I saw a meme one time that was like my favorite childhood memory is not paying bills. Yep. Little did we know. Ice skating at my grandma's house right out the front door. That is amazing. She put our skates on and out the front door we went. I have always wanted to ice skate on like a natural lake, like not at like a skating rink. That's amazing. Tree tire swings, reading books while laying on the porch, going to the beach, learning how to bake pies with my grandma, weekends with my cousins at the cabin, neighborhood wiffle ball. Oh my gosh. We used to play neighborhood capture the flag. That shit got intense. It was some good neighborhood rivalry. When Santa gave me my first pair of ice skates, I have been figure skating ever since. That's awesome. So many memories. Tomato day with my big Italian family, jarring our own sauce. Blizzard of 1978 shut down for several days, so went sledding, ice skating, and snow angel making. Love it. Okay, cool. So let's dive in. It is just me today. Lucky you guys. So let me go through some housekeeping before we get into today's topic. So your free Bright Pages trial will end on Monday at midnight. And so what that means is you'll still be able to access like all the old posts that you've done. You can even export them if you want. But if you want to continue to write new ones, take other pathways, get daily prompts and daily emails, then you'll need to join as a member. So this code will expire on Monday, U29LT for 40% off your annual membership. So that's $29 for the year as opposed to $50. If you're not ready to take that leap yet and join for the year, you can do $4.99 a month and still get access to all of the same features. But the group will remain. So this Facebook group will live on. But in order to continue to use Bright Pages, you'll need to sign up as a member. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying it and want to explore other pathways. And speaking of other pathways, yesterday we uploaded Antonio's and Britt's guest pathways. So if you go on to, if you're a member right now, you can actually start taking them, but I would wait till you're done with the challenge. So Antonio's pathway is stop living on autopilot, and Brit's pathway is tapping into your creativity. And so I actually went through their questions yesterday when they uploaded, and they are awesome. So those are 2 guest pathways that we have up now. And just a little hint that there's going to be more guest pathways from familiar names this weekend that are going to be uploaded. So use the code U29LT for 40% off. Christine is in the comments today. Everyone say hello to Christine, and she will be posting that link in there for anyone who's interested in joining as a member. So we figured out how we're going to do the prize redemption for everyone who completes all 21 days or all 21 pages. So we're going to send out a link on Monday to complete and redeem your prize. So you'll need to fill out that form for your special secret prize to be mailed to you. So I'll be talking more about that in the closing session on Monday at 10 a.m. But just so you know, you'll just be filling out a form to show that you've completed all 21 pages. And if you feel like you fell behind or you're stuck on a certain prompt, just go into view previous prompts and commit to 3 sentences for any pages that you've missed. Just 3 sentences. We're not scoring anything. You're not turning this into anyone. So this is really yours. So don't feel like you need to fill a novel in order to have a good post. Let's see. I like the pathways. I'll never run out of things to journal about. Yep. Our goal is to have a new pathway each week with different topics and from different people. I have really, did you get the sync between phone and computer fixed? I think so. I should have an update for you guys on that today. I know there was some issues between if you're logging in on your phone versus your computer and your old posts syncing. So I'll check with our developers on that today and make sure that that is fixed. Let's see. I've really enjoyed this. I'm now a member. Thank you for the deal. Such a wonderful bonus. Let's see. What if we are still stuck on the mission statement and need some feedback? This would be a great opportunity to lean on the group. If there's a mission statement that you're going back and forth on or where you need direction, the best way to utilize the group is to actually be specific about where you need help on. A lot of people, maybe that use a group forum with some sort of broad or general, like, I need help, don't really get that feedback that they're looking for. But if you want to use the group, show people exactly where you're stuck and where you might need that support, or maybe 2 things that you're battling in between. And that way we can help you. Let's see. What if we are doing one pathway and want to do another one that expires? Not quite sure what you mean, Karen. So if you want to explain a little bit more in the comments, there shouldn't be a pathway that expires. They will just live in Bright Pages. And so if you're a member, you'll have access to all of those pathway. Yeah, do pathways expire? No. So pathways will remain on there. So you don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Is it still true that you can only do one pathway at one time? So yes, you can also pause a pathway and start another one and then start that pathway again. So let's just say, for example, next week you start the book writing pathway, and on day 5 you see that we've uploaded a get out of a funk pathway that you feel like you need to do before you go back to writing your book. You can pause your book writing pathway, take this other pathway, and then resume it whenever you want. So even though you can only do one at one time, you can go back and forth and pause and start another one. Okay, perfect. Seems that the pathways are only there 1 week at a time. Oh yeah, no, they're there, so they don't expire. So that's why joining as a member, you'll have access to all the pathways. Yes, I go in and out of pathways. If you're like me and you like to chase shiny things, you'll join different pathways. Okay, perfect. All great questions. We're still figuring out, because since you guys are the first users, sometimes how to explain all this. So this is really helpful. Okay, so redeem your prize. We'll be sending out that form link on Monday. And then this week, you're working on your 2021 game plan for the last week of the challenge. as I said, your workbook is really complementary to the prompts. The prompts are primary what this challenge is about. But if you want a way to really weave them all together into goal statements, action plans, that's what the workbook is there for. If you're stuck on what kind of medium you want to use, you can head to businessonthebrightside.com, take that quiz in the header. I know a lot of you have already gotten author as your result or speaker. So that's awesome that quiz is giving you that clarity. Now, tell me now in the comments, what medium do you want to use to accomplish your goal statement? So over the past couple of days, you've been exploring your audience pain points. Now, what is the medium that you want to choose to accomplish this mission statement? What we did in that first week was figure out, what we want to be known for, what we care about. Now, how do we want to relay that and solve that problem through what it is that we want to do? So do you feel like you're called to write a book? Do you feel like you're being called to speak, start a podcast, maybe create a nonprofit, coach, create a startup company like I did with Headbands of Hope? You don't have to choose one thing forever, but I think you do have to choose one thing to start. Just like Melba was saying yesterday, like just start. You'll get clarity on the way to doing that. So tell me in the comments what you guys are thinking about. Blog, that's awesome. I want to create a course. So I assume that's a startup. Yeah, I would classify course as startup. That's kind of a mix between all of them, which is great. Speaking in front of audiences, workshops, breakouts, coaching, speaking, blogging, some related products, writing. I'm called to a vessel transformation in women's lives. This is good. That's really good. I'm stuck here, maybe nonprofit. I'm a yoga teacher. And as a sexual assault survivor, I want to help turn victims into survivors. Okay. So if you're stuck, I want you to think about what feels lightest to you, what feels easiest, and then how can you try that on for a week? So when you think about all these different mediums that are out there, whether that's writing, speaking, podcasting, let's say maybe you're like, maybe I want to start a podcast, but I'm not sure. What if you tried like a version 1, which is going live on your Instagram, once a week for 15 minutes and see how it feels? So what's the thing that feels lightest to you? How can you try it on for 1 week? Let me just see what author, podcaster at the same time, keynote speaker. That's awesome. So yeah, what feels light to you, try it on for a week and just see how it feels, because we'll get that clarity when we engage with our ideas, not when we think about them. So you might start writing a book and realize, actually, this is an awesome keynote talk that I can start giving for virtual events. Okay, cool. So this brings us to our prompt on Bright Pages today. Take this goal statement and write out your big picture month by month plan for it. So we're going to start big with these ideas of what we want to accomplish and then narrow them down tomorrow in smaller steps. So you'll see in your workbook, there's that page that has month by month boxes. Those are designed to just be short and small. That way it's just these big picture ideas. This is like your Sharpie board, not your pen board. So like, where do you want to be in March with this? Where do you want to be in April? And so on and so forth. So start to write out this big picture month by month plan. Okay, let me see. Community work. I'm stuck. I'm a teacher and love photography. Thought about a photography business. I want to help others learn to express themselves and gain more self-awareness. Thought about a blog, motivational product. Not sure how to do that or what I would write though. This is great because you already have ideas and a passion bubbling up. This is another great way to lean on the community. Do you have a few ideas that you can share and ask people what they might be interested in? Let's see. I want to write, but I'm not sure if I should go blogging or writing a cookbook. I've seen folks start a blog and turn it into a book. This is a great example, Lisa, of having like, what's the lightest thing first? Writing a cookbook to me feels heavier than writing a blog. A blog, it's something that can be really easy to start. We have so much access to technology. We have WordPress. We have all these different platforms. You can start with like a low-hanging fruit version that is not a lot of capital up front or not a lot of education up front, and then just see how it goes. I didn't even think of turning my course idea into possible keynote speech, something to consider. Yeah. I mean, if you think about some of the mediums that I've used now, what started with a startup, Headbands of Hope, then turned into a keynote speech, then turned into a book, Chasing the Bright Side, that then both of those things, writing a keynote speech and publishing, turned into my coursework that I do with Mic Drop Workshop and Book Pop Workshop. So whatever you start with isn't necessarily going to be the thing that finishes. It could just be this trunk of a tree that grows into all of these other things. Okay, so I'm getting, I just really like hearing your guys' ideas of what you want to do. But I really did want to tell you guys this story today because something that happened in the beginning of my career, I felt like I had this mindset that didn't serve me well, that I wanted to share with all of you today as you start thinking about like what medium you want to use, what you want to put out into the world. There was a story that I think is really complementary to what we're talking about and hopefully can help you work through this as well. So I had always had this thought that someone or something or some accomplishment out there is going to be that ticket, that thing that takes me to the next level. Like one day I'll, bump into Ryan Seacrest on the street and he's going to like give me a reality show, or like one day I'm going to be discovered by some person who is going to book me for like 100 speaking gigs, or one day I'll meet someone that it makes me this like New York Times bestselling author. Or if I can just achieve this like Forbes 30 under 30 list or like this revenue goal, then I'll be able to do all of these other things that I aspire to do. And so I started to kind of think of my life and my career in terms of these like arrival points of like, once I do this, then I can get that. Or I need this person to see me or hear me in order for me to fulfill this goal that I have. And as a result of that, I felt like I was just gripping a lot of things really tightly, that I needed to have this one thing because that one thing was going to make or break whatever it was that I was doing. And so it wasn't until I was doing a speaking engagement at this event, and it wasn't a huge speaking engagement, but they had a really good lineup. And one of the other speakers in the lineup was this guy that I won't say his name, but he's the founder of a company that we've all heard of. Let's just call him Bob. And Bob was also a speaker at this event. Of course, he was like the main headliner because everyone had heard of him before and heard of his company. And I hadn't met Bob yet, and I had gone up there, given my talk, and I came off stage, and Bob came up to me and said, "Do you have a passport?" And I was like, "Oh shit. Like, yeah, I got a passport." He was like, "Good, because after what I just heard, I'm going to make you a world-class speaker." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's happening." Like, everything that I had dreamed of is about to happen because this one guy heard me speak and is going to do something about it. And so I gave him my number. I gave him like my business card. I'm like, this is my address. Like, here's my social security. Reach me anytime, anywhere. Let's do this. And I remember leaving the event that day and like calling my mom and like calling, Jake, who was like my boyfriend at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is about to happen. This is like my whole life is about to change. I just met Bob and he believes in me. And so I waited by the phone and I waited and I waited, and he never called. He never emailed. He never did anything after that day. And I remember thinking, like, I blew it. that was the golden ticket. Like that was going to be the fast track to my success. And it just like blew out of my hands like a gust of wind. Or it was like this train that I saw taking off while I was still standing on the platform. And I thought that that was it for me. Like, because he didn't call, because he didn't make all these connections for me, then I wasn't going to be that world-class speaker that he had promised. And I remember feeling like, what was it that I did wrong? Maybe like, what could I have done differently? What could I have done better? Should I have gotten his information and I was the one who called? I just like replayed the scenario so many times in my head, thinking that it would have led to a different outcome. But nevertheless, after this, I just kept speaking. I just kept showing up for free. And eventually those free gigs would turn into a couple $1,000s here and there. And those couple $1,000 gigs would turn into, 5-figure gigs eventually. And little by little, I went from speaking 1 or 2 times a year for free to speaking 50 times a year paid, and traveling all over the world to do it and speaking to audiences of 10,000 people. And I know I'm making like this big leap in the story. There's a lot of things that went into that leap, which is why I started Mic Drop Workshop, is to help women take that leap. But all of a sudden I could like kind of lift my head up for a second and look around and see that, I was doing it. I was going for it. And then I spoke at this event in Atlanta. This was like 5 years later. And guess who was also speaking at that event in Atlanta? Bob. And I remember seeing him backstage, and he came up to me and was like, "Oh, Jess, it's so good to see you. How's it been? Catch me up, da, da, da." And then he goes, "Hey, did my agent ever get in touch with you? Like I asked her to back in the day when I met you at so-and-so event?" And I was like, "No, she didn't. But like, I'm good. I got it. Like I'll take it from here." And it was one of these moments that I realized that path 5 years ago to where I am today had nothing to do with one person who picked up the phone, and everything to do with me and my consistency. And so we might think that there's going to be something or someone out there, if we can just get this one thing, that's going to be the ticket to our success. But you are your only golden ticket. You showing up every day and writing down your goals and going after them, you showing up and speaking at that event or going after that book proposal, that is going to be the ticket to your success. No one else. There's not one person, accomplishment, title, or metric that is going to make or break you. It's only you. And that's one of the awesome things about all this, about going after what you want, or starting your business, or starting your podcast, or writing your book, or becoming a speaker, is because you are in the driver's seat of your own destiny. Like, you are the one in control. You are the one calling the shots. For better or worse, like, you're just looking in the mirror. And I think that once I could release this grip, that there was going to be something external that decided my fate, and realize that all of it was internal, that's when the process started to become more fun, because I wasn't constantly suffocating all of these other outcomes or all of these other goals. I could only look back on myself. And it was even helpful when things went bad, because if I realized that I did mess up on something, or something was a flop and it didn't go well, I also knew that that one thing wasn't going to make or break me, because it was the sum of all of it. The good and the bad, the ups and the downs, like none of it defines you, because that's the beauty of doing something like this and going after what you want, is that you're always in the driver's seat of that. You can drive out of the storm or into it, because it's only you. And so Bob wasn't the one who made me that world-class speaker. It was just my ability to keep showing up. And whatever it is that you want to do, there's not going to be one person, one Bob, or one thing out there that's going to make you or break you to get there. It's only going to be you. And so I think that story is one that I think about a lot when I think about like going after something or doing something that scares me, or when I grip an outcome too tightly. You have to remember that it's really only up to you. Going through some of your comments right now, we often put worth in the hands of others. We are badasses and people should be honored to meet us. Exactly. Everything happens for a reason. Damn you, Bob. Don't mess with our gal. Love you guys. Oh, yes. Danny, listen to my last podcast, Gripping Fist versus Open Palm. I love how your whole revolution has been so logically connected. It's funny how it doesn't feel like it at the time when you're creating it. And then when you can look back and connect the dots, you realize that it is. Let's see. Oops. Consistency, informative content, and real solutions, valuable time. Please tell me you were the headliner of Bob. I wish I was not there quite yet. That's honestly one of the reasons why I started Mic Drop Workshop, is because almost every event I was a part of, it was like a white male headliner, every single one. And I'm like, we need to get more women in these headliner positions. All right. You guys are great. Okay. Moving on. We'll have our closing live session Monday, February 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow, our guest speaker is Angela Connor. Her and I were on a virtual panel a couple weeks ago, and I forgot I was on the panel because I was just so enthralled by what she was saying and her sassy attitude and her no BS mentality. You guys are in for a treat. Angela's awesome. So she'll be going live with us at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And if you need to take the weekend to catch up on your 21 prompts, do so, because you'll be turning them in or filling out the form on, not turning them in, filling out the form on Monday to show that you've completed all 21 prompts. The movie, What About Bob? Love it. You guys are really good. Yeah. Tomorrow, headliners Angela Connor. You're going to love her. Christine knows her as well. Okay. So I will see you guys here, same time, same place tomorrow. Again, lean on this community if you guys are struggling with like what medium you want to use. If you have like a podcast that you're trying to decide about, put it in this community. Ask for some specific feedback. Ask a specific question. That's one of the true values here, and that's what we're all here for. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everyone. I'm going to go play in the snow now.